He almost didn't stop. And if he hadn't, none of this would have happened. Most people think their life is going to change because of something big, a promotion, a move, a decision they spent weeks thinking about. But that's not how it actually works. The moments that flip everything upside down, they show up on a random Tuesday. On a back road, at sunset, when you're just trying to get home. Marcus wasn't looking for anything. He was tired, he was behind on groceries, and he had a 7-year-old waiting at home. The last thing he expected to see on that empty road was a woman in a wedding dress, standing alone, crying like the world had ended. He almost kept driving. Almost. This is the story of what happened when he didn't. Marcus had been doing life on his own for 3 years, not by choice. His wife had left, and just like that, it was him and his daughter Lily against everything. He worked construction. Long hours, sore hands, early mornings. Every single day he came home exhausted. Made dinner, helped with homework, read a bedtime story, and did it all over again the next day. No breaks, no backup, just him. He wasn't unhappy exactly. He had Lily. He had a routine. He had enough. But somewhere underneath all of it, there was this quiet feeling that something was missing. He just didn't have time to think about it. That Saturday evening in late October, he was driving back from the grocery store on his usual back road. The sky was doing that thing where it turns orange and pink right before dark. His radio was on low. He was thinking about nothing in particular, and then he saw her, standing on the side of the road, a woman in a wedding dress, not a clean, perfect wedding dress, a destroyed one. The bottom was ripped and covered in mud. One strap was hanging off her shoulder. She was barefoot, holding her heels in one hand, standing on gravel like she didn't even feel it. And she was crying so hard her whole body was shaking. Marcus slowed down, and for 1 second, just one, his brain said, "Keep going. You're late. You don't know her. It's not your problem." But his hands already had the truck pulling over. He rolled down the window. "Hey, you okay?" She looked up, mascara running down her face, hair everywhere. She stared at him like she was trying to decide if he was safe. "I'm fine," she said. Now, anyone who has ever heard a woman say "I'm fine" in that particular tone of voice knows exactly what it means. It means the complete opposite. Marcus turned the truck off and got out. Slowly, hands where she could see them. He wasn't trying to be a hero. He just couldn't leave someone standing barefoot on gravel in the dark. "You don't look fine," he said. "And you're standing on rocks with no shoes, so." She let out this short, surprised laugh, like she hadn't expected that. And then her face completely broke and she sat down right there on the metal guardrail and cried harder. He didn't panic. He didn't try to fix it immediately. He just sat down next to her, kept his distance, and waited. When she finally caught her breath, she told him she had walked out of her own wedding. Not walked, ran. She was halfway through the ceremony, standing at the altar, and she just could not do it. She ran out a side door, through the wedding garden, across a field, and just kept going until her heels snapped and her dress caught on everything. "Did he hurt you?" Marcus asked. "No," she said. "He never hurt me. He just never actually saw me. 6 years together and I was just something to look good in photos next to him." Marcus nodded slowly. He didn't say much. Sometimes people don't need advice. They just need someone to sit next to them. Then he asked the only question that actually mattered in that moment. "Where do you need to go?" She blinked, like that was the most practical thing anyone had said to her all day. Her name was Claire. She had a college friend who lived about 40 minutes away, someone she trusted. But her phone was dead. She had no purse, no money, nothing. She had literally just run. Marcus stood up. "Come on, I'll take you." She stared at him. "You don't know me." "No," he said, "but it's getting dark and you're barefoot, so come on." The drive was 40 minutes. They talked the whole time. She told him she'd grown up in a small town, studied architecture, had a whole life planned out before. The wrong relationship slowly took up all the space. He told her about Lily, about the 3 years on his own, about how he'd built this little routine that kept them both going. She listened like she was really, truly interested. Not the polite kind, the real kind, where someone actually looks at you when you talk. When they pulled up to her friend's place, she turned to him and said, "Thank you. You didn't have to stop." "Someone had to," he said. She smiled. She got out, walked to the door in her torn dress, barefoot, and knocked. Marcus waited until someone opened the door. Then he drove home. He thought that was it. A strange evening. A good deed. End of story. 3 days later, someone knocked on his door. He opened it, expecting his neighbor. Instead, Claire was standing there in normal clothes this time, hair down, holding 2 cups of coffee, looking slightly embarrassed. "I asked around," she said. "Small town. Wasn't hard to find you. I hope that's not weird." "It's a little weird," he said. "The coffee helps, though." That made her laugh. She handed him the cup and came inside. And then she told him the part of the story she hadn't mentioned in the truck. The man she'd left at the altar? His name was Richard Voss, as in the Voss family. One of the wealthiest families in the entire country. The moment she walked out, the story exploded online. Her face was everywhere. The family's lawyers had been calling, pressuring her to sign a statement, saying the split was mutual, that she left for personal reasons and not because of anything the Voss family did. They wanted it clean. They wanted her quiet. She hadn't signed anything. And Richard, the man she'd spent 6 years with, had not once called to ask if she was okay. He called to tell her how embarrassing she had made him look. Marcus just listened, and when she finished, he asked her, "Why are you telling me all this?" She said, "Because I don't have a lot of people in my corner right now." And the stranger who pulled over felt more like a real person than anyone in that entire wedding hall. That hit him somewhere deep, the kind of thing you don't forget. They started talking more, then seeing each other more. She met Lily, who immediately decided Claire was the best person on the planet because Claire knew how to do the complicated braid style that Marcus had been failing at for 3 years. Claire found the leak under his kitchen sink and called someone. She knew to fix it without making a big deal about it. She showed up one Tuesday with a book about raising kids alone and just quietly left it on his counter. He started saving her a seat at the diner down the road without thinking about it. Neither of them said what was happening. They just let it happen. But Lily noticed. Kids always notice. One night at dinner, Lily put her fork down, looked across the table at Claire and said, "Are you coming for Christmas?" The table went quiet. Marcus looked at his daughter. Then he slowly looked at Claire. Claire looked right back at him, and she said, "I'd really like that." And just like that, just that simply, something that had been quiet for 3 years started to feel like it was waking up. Here's the thing, nobody tells you about the moments that change your life. They don't look important when they're happening. They look like a back road at sunset. They look like someone else's problem. They look like a reason to keep driving. Marcus almost kept driving. And if he had just told himself it wasn't his business and pressed the gas, he would have driven home, eaten dinner, put Lily to bed, and woken up the next morning with no idea what he'd just missed. Sometimes the biggest thing that ever happens to you is hidden inside the smallest decision you almost didn't make,